In the ancient valley of Elah, a scene of profound tension unfolds. Two armies, the Israelites and the Philistines, stand poised on opposing hills, a silent testament to a conflict that has reached a standstill. For 40 days, the air has been thick not with the clash of swords, but with the heavy weight of fear. The valley below, a picturesque landscape of terebinth trees, has become a theater of psychological warfare, a no-man's land where courage is tested and faith is questioned. The soldiers of Israel, once confident in their strength, now huddle in their camp, their morale eroding with each passing sunrise. An impasse born of terror holds two nations captive, waiting for a champion, a hero, or a miracle. From the Philistine ranks, a figure of terrifying proportions emerges, his shadow stretching long across the valley floor. This is Goliath of Gath, a giant whose very presence is an act of intimidation. Standing over 9 feet tall, he is a mountain of a man, clad in a coat of bronze mail weighing over 100 pounds. A bronze helmet protects his head, and bronze greaves cover his legs. The shaft of his spear is like a weaver's beam, tipped with a massive iron point. Even his shield-bearer, who walks before him, strains under the weight of his duty. Each morning and evening, Goliath's voice, a thunderous roar, echoes across the valley. He mocks the armies of Israel and their God, challenging them to send out a single man to fight him. His challenge is simple, a duel to decide the fate of both nations. If Israel's champion wins, the Philistines will become their servants. But if Goliath is victorious, Israel will serve the Philistines. The response from the Israelite camp is a profound and chilling silence. Fear, sharp and cold, has pierced the heart of every soldier, from the lowest footman to King Saul himself. Into this atmosphere of despair walks an unlikely figure. David, the youngest son of Jesse, is a shepherd, his hands more familiar with a harp and a staff than a sword and shield. He arrives from Bethlehem, sent by his father to bring provisions to his 3 older brothers on the front lines, and to bring back news of their welfare. As he reaches the camp, he hears the taunts of the giant and sees the terror in the eyes of his countrymen. But where others feel fear, David feels a righteous indignation. How dare this uncircumcised Philistine defy the armies of the living God? He cannot comprehend the paralysis that has gripped a nation. His brothers rebuke him for his youthful arrogance. But David's spirit is unyielding. His questions are not of fear, but of faith. His conviction brings him before a weary and desperate King Saul, who sees only a boy standing before him. King Saul, seeing the earnest fire in David's eyes, offers the boy his own royal armor, a bronze helmet, and a coat of mail. David puts them on, but they are heavy, unfamiliar, and cumbersome. He has not tested them. He removes the king's armor, choosing instead the simple tools of his trade and the unwavering strength of his faith. He tells Saul, "I cannot go in these, for I am not used to them." Instead, he recalls his life as a shepherd, protecting his flock from the dangers of the wilderness. He recounts how, with God's help, he faced down both a lion and a bear that had stolen a lamb, striking them down with his own hands. "The Lord who delivered me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear," David declares, "will deliver me from the hand of this Philistine." His confidence is not in bronze or iron, but in the divine protection he has known his entire life. With Saul's blessing, David walks away from the royal tent, armed only with his staff, his sling, and a shepherd's bag. He pauses at a nearby brook, a place of quiet amidst the chaos of war. There, he carefully chooses 5 smooth stones, each one a potential instrument of divine will, and places them in his bag. He is ready. With nothing but his staff in hand and his sling at the ready, David begins his solitary walk into the valley. He is a boy on a man's errand, a shepherd striding toward a warrior. Goliath, seeing him approach, scoffs in disbelief and contempt. "Am I a dog, that you come to me with sticks?" The giant bellows, cursing David by his pagan gods. He promises to feed David as flesh to the birds of the air and the beasts of the field. David's reply is not a boast, but a declaration of faith that rings with absolute certainty. "You come to me with a sword and with a spear and with a javelin?" he calls out. "But I come to you in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied." He proclaims that this day the whole world will know that there is a God in Israel, for the battle is not man's, but the Lord's. As Goliath lumbers forward, David runs to meet him. Reaching into his bag, he places a single stone into his sling. He whirls it once, twice, a blur of motion, and then releases. The stone flies, straight and true, a tiny projectile, against a colossal target. It sinks deep into Goliath's forehead, the one place unprotected by his helmet. The giant stumbles, his eyes wide with shock, and then crashes face down onto the earth with a ground-shaking thud. The silence that follows is deafening, a moment of collective disbelief. Then, a roar erupts from the Israelite camp, a sound not of fear, but of triumphant, explosive joy. Seeing their champion fall, the Philistine army breaks. Panic spreads through their ranks, and they turn and flee in a chaotic retreat. The Israelites surge from their positions, chasing their terrified enemies, and a great victory is won. David's act of courage, born from a deep and abiding faith, shatters the stalemate and turns the tide of the war. He proves that the size of one's opponent is irrelevant when compared to the power of one's conviction. This is a timeless story, a powerful reminder that challenges are not overcome by might or by armor, but by the unwavering belief in a power greater than ourselves. It teaches us that true strength lies not in the force we can wield, but in the faith we hold. Thank you for watching. If this story inspired you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that explores the greatest stories ever told.